Being in a band is also like being in a really weird relationship where you all, like, everyone in the band has this passion and this drive in a specific way, and maybe the ideas match up, maybe they don't. And certainly it's a group of all different people who have different goals in life ultimately, you know? And so it kind of is that Survival Guide kind of is me surviving, you know, continuing to do music after all this, after, you know, all of the changes and all the different music that I've done and different music styles and everything.
If you're watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment about the episode. And if you're watching on Spotify or listening on a traditional podcast platform, please follow, rate us 5 stars, and leave a review if you would be so kind. Thank you. Welcome to the Way to Know You podcast, Season 2, Episode 16. My name is Nick Rounds, and I will be your host. My next guest has been a professional musician for 20 going on so super slow years. She's a California native that took the reins as the lead singer of Tsunami Bomb and then eventually planning her own ultimate escape in the form of the action design. These days, she's sticking to her own survival guide of being a solo artist that isn't afraid of exploring the ugly side. Currently residing out of nowhere anywhere, better known as San Antonio, Texas, when she's not swimming through molasses or Twitch live streams or performing a top 40 hit cover song from her Request Hotline covers album, she's busy baking cookies for friends and patrons alike. Emily Whitehurst. Wait, I know you. How are you today?
I'm excellent after hearing that amazing intro that you did. I want to put that in writing. I've never heard anything like it.
I always like to handwrite my intros, and yours felt like it deserved to have a lot of puns in there, or at least have a lot of references to all your songs and bands and stuff like that. It's hard to
fantastic.
It's hard to sneak in a Plinky or a generic Asphalt in there.
Yeah.
So I had some self-control with those two, but I definitely snuck in the rest of your bands in there. So
well,
thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. You've done a lot of podcasts, you've done a lot of interviews, and the number one thing that people ask you is, what made you get into punk rock? And the answer to that question is Green Day. But
yes.
What I never hear them ask is, what is your favorite song of Green Day's Dookie?
Oh, yeah, I have not been asked that question. Well, I mean, let's see. Okay, I love Coming Clean. Just the melody of it. That's just that's what made me really fall in love with Green Day and with punk rock in general and music in general is, you know, his melodies. 17, like just the way that he puts together those intervals and stuff. I mean, and now when I think of it, like 17, it's not even that crazy, but to me at the time I was just like, I feel it. I feel those melodies, those vocal melodies. So yeah, I think I might say that one. I might say Coming Clean.
That's a good one.
I can't exactly say why, but I think I'm going to go with that because I love them all. I love all of them.
Well, are there any other ones that you love for a specific reason, even if it's not your favorite one?
Well, probably Longview is special because it's the first one that I heard because I came from a small town, so the only thing I had was MTV. Really, we didn't even have any sort of good station to listen to or anything. So yeah, I mean that one is like that one. It definitely brings back memories of feeling like I knew where I was in the world, sort of. But yeah, it's not my favorite. All of the ones that had music videos were, definitely hold a place for me because I would totally come home from school and turn on the countdown so that I could see whichever one was the single at the time. So, Longview, and then Basket Case, and then When I Come Around.
Yeah, When I Come Around is my favorite one, just because I love watching them walk through Powell Street, BART station, and
Oh, uh-huh.
anytime I see that hexagonal like bumpy wall covering that's in Powell Station, I always think about them walking through Powell Station, and then I think it's Mike Dirnt that unhooks a payphone from the wall and just keeps
Yeah,
walking in the video. Yeah,
that's funny because I I never thought about how those videos might have been filmed in the Bay Area because I didn't, I'm from Central California, so I didn't move to the Bay Area until college. So I might have to go back and watch that one. I had no idea.
yeah. They filmed it partially when they're walking together. It's all on Powell Street BART station. Yeah, that's the funny thing is that because you were in Tsunami Bomb, a lot of people assume that you're from Santa Rosa, Roanoke Park area, but you're actually from Los Banos,
Yes.
not Los Banos, because it's sans tilde, correct?
Well, no, I mean it. I think it should have the tilde, but but it was never easy to type that when I lived there.
Sans tilde.
Yes.
Um, so obviously, Green Day was a gateway drug for pop punk, and you went pretty hard on that. You joined pop punk bands. Are there any initial artists that you might have passed up in your youth that are super important to you now?
Yeah. I mean, well, you mean from that time?
From that time, or maybe just, yeah, I guess in that era of, let's just say like pre 2000, that maybe they were out and doing stuff, but you weren't necessarily, they weren't on your radar, but now they're more important to you.
Yeah, well, another um big band for me at one stage in my life and that I have held on to was the Smiths and Morrissey. And that's not, I mean, they're like 80s, but I remember Morrissey had a single in the 90s. He had The More You Ignore Me, The Closer I Get. And I
Mm.
remember seeing it because it was around the same time that I was watching MTV a lot. And I was just like, whatever, like this sucks. I do not like it. And I met another kid at one point who was like super obsessed with Morrissey and the Smiths, and I was like, this is so lame. Like, why? I don't get it at all. So it wasn't till probably 2000 and just a few years later, like 2001 or somewhere around that time, till 2002 maybe, I was like super into the Smiths and Morrissey. I don't know. It was like it just didn't register the first time I heard it.
This guy's a nerd. Wait, I'm a nerd too. Damn it. Um, were there any specific songs that really pulled you in with the Smiths or Morrissey, or was it that specific Morrissey song that you just mentioned?
Uh Specific songs. It's hard to think. It definitely wasn't that one because I'm bigger on the Smiths for sure. Although I do love Morrissey too. I It was when we were recording the first Tsunami Bomb album. So we were recording Ultimate Escape and we were staying in LA and we went to like a used record store or just a record store that had a lot of used CDs. And I bought, sometimes we would listen to them on tour. I can't remember, probably Mike, our guitar player, would put them on sometimes, or I'm not quite sure who, but I bought The Queen is Dead, and that's definitely like I already knew that I liked the Smiths just from kind of listening to them on tour. But when I bought that record and really listened to it as a full, because I think we were kind of listening to like a best of type thing on tour. Somebody had a best of CD. And when I got The Queen is Dead, it was just like listening to it start to finish and just loving it all of it at once.
That's
That's
awesome.
it. That's kind of a non-answer because I don't know what song exactly. Can I say the full album?
You can say the full album. I mean, I have some favorites for sure. I
Tell me
love.
about yours.
I guess since you asked, geez. I think the one that hits like a ton of bricks is "Please, Please Let Me Get What I Want."
Oh
Like
yeah, that's
that's such
so
a
good.
heartbreaking song. But I
I
think the
kind of want to
core.
cover that one because it's on piano.
Oh, you should.
That one could be really pretty.
Um, and then "This Charming Man" because you can sing it without actually singing any lyrics. You can just hum his You can just like mock his melody, and you'll sing the whole song anyway.
Okay, I've never done that, but
La,
I believe
la,
you.
la, 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 la. Yeah, like just like that whole thing. And I've outed my shower singing publicly. Way to go, Nick.
That's great.
This charming man. Anyway, all right, we're done. We're done. I'm gonna edit that out.
No.
Damn it. Just kidding. Um, so what? Who are your biggest bands or musicians that you're super into these days at this current moment, both as a music listener and also as a singer?
I feel like my only go-to I only have one go-to nowadays, like a modern person, and it's Lana Del Rey. And I wish I had more, um, but I don't. I feel like that's a question that I have been asked kind of a lot lately. And I'm like, Lana Del Rey? I love her stuff and I can listen to that. I can listen to her whole catalog on shuffle at any time. Um, as far as not so much influence, you're asking about influence, right?
Yeah, I mean, somebody you just really enjoy listening to, and maybe somebody that inspires you as a singer as well. Um,
Okay.
those are the two
Okay.
things I'm curious about.
Uh yeah. So I am really into listening to Lana Del Rey, and I wouldn't say that her vocals, like her vocal style, inspires me, or even her lyrical content, which I think is really genius. But what inspires me about her is her how prolific she is, and I wish that I could, like, she just writes so much, and she's releasing an album like every year, and I would love to embody some of that skill. And I think that she, as a listener, I feel like she is probably the kind of musician who is a lyricist. Like she writes lyrics and then gets together with people to put together a song from it. So I have been inspired a bit in that way to try writing some lyrics. I just finished writing a song, the first song in so long that I've written that came from the lyrics, because usually my style is to have some music first and then to piece a vocal melody and lyrical concept into it. um, so I did the opposite for one recent song that is in the demo stage. um, but yeah, as far as vocally, I don't really have any modern influences. A lot of the stuff I listen to isn't like how I sound. um,
It doesn't have to be. I mean, influences can come from all different directions. It's just more of like what music makes you happy.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah. I hadn't really thought about that before though, until now, because I love, belting a song and singing loud.
yep.
And I mean, I like singing soft too, but those loud notes are really what make me happy. And and I can't think of I can hardly think of anyone that I listen to regularly that sings loud like that. Maybe I should find some. Maybe I should do
I mean
some
that
homework.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of your signature, honestly. Like, and that's what a lot of people love about your sound is that you have a huge range of being able to sing quietly, but when you belt it out, like, damn, do you belt it out?
It's loud.
No, it's great. It's great. I mean, if you're going to be on stage getting drowned out by loud guitar and drums and
Yeah.
bass, you have to belt it out loud, otherwise
Yeah,
nobody's going to hear you.
that's true. I think that was actually one thing that helped in Tsunami Bomb is that on those loud parts, I was able to, be heard amongst all the super loud backing instruments.
Yep. Um, and before, actually, so you mentioned that you just wrote a new song after not writing one for quite some time. How did those lyrics come to you? And was there anything specific that inspired you to write those lyrics?
Yeah, this song specifically. So I've been working on writing an album, and I do have about 4.5 songs written, like fully. Okay, 4 songs fully written, a half song written, and then I have bits and pieces here and there that kind of need to be assembled. But this one in particular that we're talking about was inspired by a dream I had, which is something that I have not done before, which is kind of I'm really enjoying it. My concept, I don't know. I feel like I may have I did tell this to my patrons, but this is like something I haven't really been talking about. But there are going to be multiple songs on here that are about dreams that I had, specifically about dreams where I was dying. And it's like in varying levels of intensity. Like in some of these dreams, I'm just like, oh, I'm about to die. And some of these dreams, I actually die. It's I've had 3 death dreams. So I've decided to write a song about each of them.
Oh, wow.
And I've written 2 of them already. So this one that started with the lyrics was I keep doing this. It started with the lyrics. Not This is not lyrics right here. It's this one. It's like a love song, really, because in this dream I was driving and I thought that I was going to die. I knew like in my heart that I was going to die because I was about to crash. I was about to go off of a like an overpass type thing.
Right.
And in my dream, I knew I was going to die, and so I thought of my husband, and I was like, well, I want that to be my last thought in my mind, is like his face and just like how much I love him. And then in the dream, I didn't end up dying. So, but it was like a really strong feeling of that I felt like I knew I was going to, and then I kind of surprised myself by my own reaction, I guess, of like, I mean, not that I think I don't love him, but just
Yeah.
I was so determined, like, all right, well, if I'm going to die, I'm about to die. I'm going to die, and I want this to be my thought. And that's it. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, not to make it super emotional, but I mean, I think the times where where I personally realize I love somebody or something more than I thought I did is usually in those times of peril of like, you can't stay neutral on a moving train. You have to decide. I've chased my cat Ghost through an airport before.
Oh,
He got
no.
he got loose at SeaTac, and because, well, actually, do you want to hear a story?
I would love to.
Okay. So around the time, this is in 2019, around the time, sorry, yeah, 2019, around the time that airlines are getting furloughed, or like the TSA is getting furloughed or whatever. And so like they don't have their best and brightest air. And I had flown to Southern California because I moved there for a hot minute. and my cats were in Seattle, so I had to fly my cats from Seattle with me to Southern California. And so my cat Ghost, who's deaf, I brought him in the carrier through TSA, and the TSA people they had there were basically not the normal people, not the best and brightest. And so I assumed that like he was just going to ask me like, let's go do a private screen or whatever. And he's like, can you take the cat out of the carrier? I was like, what? So I take Ghost out of the carrier, and before I have time to shove him back in there, his supervisor comes running over. He's like, we can do a private screening. And Ghost is launched off my chest.
Oh,
And now he
no.
is doing a full cheetah sprint in SeaTac. And he had jumped over a bar. He had gone into like the Hudson News and like jumped into a whole bunch of water bottles. The only reason I caught him is because, one, he's deaf and he's very easy to sneak up on. And two, because the TSA guy like had the carrier right behind me. So I footballed him, and just like I had a full hand of like scratches and everything else, and I got him back in the carrier. But I was like, you're my cat forever now.
Yeah, wow. That sounds so traumatic.
Yeah, it was wild. And yeah, I mean, a similar situation is like anytime something is in peril and like you, or like, if a friend's in trouble, whatever, like there's no, like, I think I like you, or there's only absolutes at that moment. So
yeah. Yeah, it's like you learn something from it.
Yeah. Did you wake up and be like, hey, you're special?
Yes, I did.
Nice. Well, thank you for sharing that. Sorry, I'm having PTSD of chasing him through the airport.
Oh, no. Take your time.
No, that's all good. Are there, so just going, one more influence question, because I'm curious. What are some of the most important songs to you that other artists have written?
Important songs specifically.
Yeah, like songs that like are super important to you, like came to you in a time of your life when you needed them.
Oh, that's a really hard question, because
Do you want an example?
there's so many. Sure.
Okay. Around it, are you familiar with Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World?
Yeah.
Do you know the first two lines of that song?
I want to. I don't know the words. Talk about the weather, right?
Oh, that's the other song.
Oh, no. Okay. Which one is that?
It's well, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, but
wait, isn't that Everybody Wants to Rule the World?
That's the other one. It's I'm blanking.
Something.
Head Over Heels.
Head over heels.
Yeah.
Other Tears for Fears. Okay, wait, no. Don't tell me. Okay. It goes do 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 dun dun.
There you go.
Dun dun. Welcome to your life. Is that it? Is that what it says?
Keep going.
There's no turning back. Right?
Those are two of the most haunting lyrics that you could ever hear at a time of your life when you're in a transition period. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back.
Yeah, wow. I never even thought about those before. I didn't even know that I knew them.
That hit me dead in the chest, like at a dead stop. I was stressed out, moving, and that song was on while I was just walking around, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks because I'd never hit the context of that song. So related to that, has a song ever hit you in the chest like that before, in terms of being like, wow, I didn't know I need to hear this right now?
I think there's nothing like, that's a really amazing example, and I don't think I have anything like that just off the top of my head.
Well, not that profound, but I mean, just like songs that like became super important to you that most people would either pass over or just don't have. They don't have this. It doesn't have the same meaning for them.
Let's see. It's an interesting question because I feel like the lyrics are super important to me, but the songs that stand out to me in my life are not just lyrical, you know? It's like it's the whole, like everything about it, the way that the vocals are, the melody, the drums, the feel of the whole song. So yeah, it's like I can't think of anything specific that as far as like the meaning of the song itself. Um but one song that, like, I definitely have a bunch of songs that just give me a feeling of like, yes, life is awesome, or whatever, just give me like a really strong feeling. And I have a whole playlist of them, and a couple I can think of. Uh what is it called? I'm really bad with titles, so that's not great. But the Distillers song, "We Are the Revenant." It might just
Mhm.
be Revenant. I'm not sure. Um, it just is so like, I just the song is really powerful to me, um, without necessarily being about the lyrics, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
I am the
also,
I am a revenant.
sure, yes, that's it. And then there's a Janelle Monáe song. Oh, I'm not gonna know what it's called. It's like the first song off of her album. Now I don't know what the name of the album is.
Do you remember what the album art looks like?
Yeah, it's the one that has a bunch of hers on it.
The
Like
Electric
she's
Lady,
yes,
and
Electric
it's
Lady.
a Suite 4 Electric Overture.
No, that's like an intro. What's the second song on there?
Give 'em what they love, featuring Prince.
Yes. Yes, it's so good. It's so, like, that song comes on and I'm just like, yes. Yes. Life, music, everything's awesome. It just is like something about it is so powerful to me. I would love to incorporate, like, I'd love to, I couldn't cover it just right, but I don't know. It just is so good.
That's awesome. All right, let's talk about what you're doing these days.
Okay.
But to set some context there, you're best known as Agent M, formerly the lead singer of Tsunami Bomb.
Hmm.
And after Tsunami Bomb broke up in 2005, you moved on to the action design, and these days you're a solo act known as a survival guide. But before we dive into your life as of late, I'm curious: do the Tsunami Bomb years feel like an absolute blur at this point?
I mean, it does feel like it was a lifetime ago, for sure. But it also was like very formative for me. So I have lots of great memories, and got to do a lot of amazing things. Went so many places, and got to meet so many musicians and people that I idolized. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's a blur, but it definitely was the far distance.
Are there any? What are some of the most important lessons that you learned during the Tsunami Bomb era?
uh, Always bring a swimsuit when you're going anywhere.
Is there a skinny dipping story that happened, or is it just more of a
No, it's more of a, like, I'm missing out because I didn't bring a swimsuit. I would not have gone skinny dipping with the band. That would not have happened. But yeah, there have been plenty of times where I regretted not bringing a swimsuit, to the point where now I'm just like, if I'm going on a trip anywhere, it doesn't matter if it's winter. It doesn't matter if it's winter and you're going to the Northeast. Like, somebody might have a hot tub at some house you're staying at, and then you'll be so sad that you didn't bring a swimsuit. So that's one. That's one for sure. That's a big one. Um, let's see. Lessons, other lessons. Uh, well, I learned a lot about about, I mean, being in close quarters with people, like being with people and in a basically a working environment. Being in a band, especially a touring band, I think is a really unique experience because you're jam packed into a van with people that you're with literally 24 hours a day, and you have to make it work, and you have a collective goal of making it work, or you don't end up having a collective goal and some people quit, or it doesn't work out for whatever reason. And yeah, I think I just learned a lot about navigating various personalities, and I would consider myself to be, like, I learned a lot about just tolerating, I guess, tolerating, because you have to on tour. It's like you have to tolerate that, there's one person that snores every single night like a freight train. You can't, there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to deal with it. And, getting angry about it doesn't improve anything. So, yeah, I feel like I can't really sum that up nicely, like the swimsuit one, but yeah,
Well, I would say always bring earplugs, maybe.
For sure. The earplugs are imperative on a tour. Yeah, I guess for me, I learned to, it's not necessarily a word of advice, because it's, for me, it pertains to just what I experienced, but I learned the ability to handle all of that stuff, and to I guess you could say I learned that you can, your reactions are what you choose them to be. Like, you don't have to yell at somebody, and I'm not much of a yeller anyway in the first place, but you these situations, like, say for example, the van breaks down, or we blow a tire, which happened so much. It's like you can freak out about it and get angry at the road or the tire, like, or you can just be like, all right, we can do this. Like, the worst that's going to happen is, we have to spend money to get this fixed and we miss a show, which sucks, but there's no reason to let it get out of control, or to let negative things affect you, because it's not productive, and that keeps you from continuing what you're doing in an effective way.
Right. You can't control a situation. Oh yeah, absolutely. You can't always control a situation, but you can always control your reaction. Typically.
Yes, there you go. That's what I should have said. I mean, tour, I feel like is the perfect, like, everything is going to happen. Everything, like, you're not just going to leave your house and play shows in various cities. Like, yes, that's going to happen, but like, everything else is going to happen too. Like, in between there, people are going to have arguments. People are going to get sick. You're going to have vans break down. You're going to have someone throw a bottle at your face during a show. It's just like, everything's going to happen. There's going to be a crazy snowstorm, and you don't know if you're going to make it. And it's just, there's always something.
Never a dull moment.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost fitting that your current band is called Survival Guide, because it almost seems telling that you have your own survival guide of how to deal with other people. And the irony is, of course, is that you're a solo act.
I know.
So I guess you're
you hit the nail on the head.
you're the lone survivor, and
yes.
Now you're writing your own survival guide of how to navigate all that.
Yes, I actually have thought about that, because it really has It has you know, being in a band is also like being in a really weird relationship where you all, like, everyone in the band has this passion and this drive in a specific way, and maybe the ideas match up, maybe they don't. And certainly it's a group of all different people who have different goals in life ultimately, you know. And so it kind of is that survival guide kind of is me surviving, you know, continuing to do music after all this, after you know, all of the changes and all the different music that I've done and different music styles and everything. So yeah, you are correct. That's part of it.
Awesome. Well, we already kind of touched on a little bit, but now as part of survival, English, Nick, English. As part of Survival Guide, you ventured far away from pop punk and into a fuller electronic sound that has challenged you musically and vocally as well. Not to say that those are mutually exclusive, of course. But what are ways that you're trying to push yourself to become a better musician in 2022 and beyond?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, first off, all of the any song that I have out in the world that you can listen to right now was written by me and my band members. Because when Survival Guide started, I had Jason on guitar and we wrote all the songs together. So I am trying to be a complete songwriter, like a full songwriter on my own. And it's been very difficult and scary and harder than I thought it would be. But that's my goal, is to write an album. Not that I won't have any friends help me, you know, like guitar player come in, actually have a song that I'm kind of finishing up right now that has a guitar player. I can't play guitar, so I've got a guitar player friend on it. But yeah, so I'm working on songwriting, working on improving that. And I also would like to just be a better musician in general, which is one reason why I started my Twitch channel. Because I feel like deep inside, I'm like, okay, I'm a vocalist. Like, that's what I do, you know, like that's what I really am. But in Survival Guide, I mean, I'm not an a cappella vocalist, you know? So
Right.
I would like to be better at these things. I would like to be better at playing piano and singing, and for Twitch, mainly for fun purposes. I also picked up the bass, and I used to play bass in my first two bands that you mentioned earlier.
Generic Asphalt and Plinky. Yes.
Yes, yes. So I picked that up, and I'm like, why not? And I took a guitar lesson in summer, just one. It's not really enough to learn guitar, but I would like to implement. We were talking earlier. I don't know if you were recording or not, but we were talking about Rock Band and wait, that's
Guitar
it, right?
Hero.
Yeah, Guitar Hero and Rock Band. Yeah, I almost
Yeah.
said Garage Band. That's not right.
That's
Rock
something
Band,
else.
and how a game like Rock Band can actually improve your musicianship, right?
Yep.
And so yeah, I have Rock Smith. Have you played that?
Yeah, that game is fantastic. If you're trying to teach yourself guitar, that game is amazing.
Yeah, so I have Rocksmith, and I've been messing around with that on guitar, and I don't really know exactly what I'm doing with that and where I want it to go. I just would like to be a better musician, and I also am. So I feel like doing these weekly Twitch streams is helping that, because I'm sitting down and just playing acoustically on this keyboard, and trying to throw more songs into my song list as I can, as often as I can. And then also on Patreon, I I do a monthly karaoke stream, which is, it's, I feel like that's so fun, but also helps me as a musician because my karaoke style is not to do it like a survival guide or like I would as a vocalist. It's like to do it like they do it, like the original singer does it. So I do requests from my patrons, and I'm doing Lady Gaga or Paramore, Blondie, like just all these different artists, and I get to just try to do what they do, which I think also helps. And this is a really long answer to this question and a multifaceted answer here. Another thing that I've been doing. So I released. You mentioned briefly in that amazing intro you did, the Request Hotline Volume 1 that I released in June, and that's a collection of covers that I did. Basically, I don't want to say commissions. No, it's more like a certain level of Patreon tier got to request actual like cover versions of songs. And in that arena, I did do it however I wanted. Like, I'm not going to do a cover song and just make it exactly like the original. So I got to deconstruct these songs, not only learn, different chord structures or song structures, but learn those and then figure out how I wanted to do them. So these are all the ways that I don't really know what the end goal is with all of that or with any of it, but I do want to be a better musician. So I'm kind of doing a lot.
That's awesome. You mentioned the request hotline. So I didn't catch the when you did like the live listening party or whatever. I caught it later on YouTube. But kind of something that I wasn't expecting is that you covered Skeeter Davis, "The End of the World" for that album, and it's a really heartbreaking song. And I don't want to go into why it holds personal relevance for you, because
unless you want me to cry on
no crying on stream. But I will say that the power of music to me has always been about how music can be a tool of healing, therapy, and catharsis. What other songs have been the song for you during particular times of your life, either as a songwriter or as a song listener, for like getting you through a period of time?
Well, okay, so I'm normally a person who, like, I'm not into, when I'm in a sad period, I don't listen to sad music. Like, that just that's not how I roll. Like, I'm like, the sadness is over there. Okay. I want music to make me feel like things are good, or feel like there's a reason for all of this or whatever, and just kind of uplift me instead of reinforce the sadness. So I
Keeping
don't
you
really,
down the hole. Yeah.
yeah, I don't really know what that says about me, because I do feel like a lot of people, when they're sad, they listen to sad music. But yeah, that's not me at all. So specifically, I don't really have any specifics for those times, for those like really dark, sad times. I think I mean, one thing that I would tend to do is put on something like Dookie, something that reminded me, something that just made me feel like, none of this had happened, just like that feeling of being carefree and like everything is always awesome, So yeah, I think that's the best example that I can give of something. But just any of those songs that transport me back to a better time,
A happier time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is called Request Hotline Volume 1.
Yes.
Is there a Volume 2
hint.
release in the semi-distant future, perhaps?
Yeah, so I actually have. So I released, that album has 10 songs on it, and I still have an additional like 18 songs that are done. They're they're mostly done. They're done, except I need to kind of tweak the mix a little bit because I did all the recording and mixing myself. So, and I've been trying to learn how to become better at mixing. So, for Request Hotline Volume 1, I did that as well. Like I took the raw songs and went back and cleaned them up and made them sound a little bit better, especially with the help of my friend Nick from Lungs and Limbs, because he is a musician who also records and mixes and masters and stuff. So he was really amazing and helped me, like gave me a lot of tips on, like I could send him the song and he would say, I would, bump the dBs up a little bit on this or whatever. So I need to do that with all the rest of the songs, but I do have plans to do a Request Hotline Volume 2 and potentially Volume 3, because why not?
Yeah. No, the album is awesome. It's all over the place in terms of like tone and your vocal range in a good way, of course.
Thank you.
But I'm a sucker because you cover 99 Red Balloons, and I think your cover of that is just so fantastic. So.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you like it. That one's, yeah. I mean, it's like not, I feel like that one is not a crazy departure from the original, so it's kind of, I'm glad that you like it.
Yeah. Well, the times that you depart from normal stuff, or like if you take a song and you make it something different, I think your cover of Skulls, like when you cover Skulls on your Twitch stream, it just makes you laugh because it's like super creepy and haunting. Even more so because it's just piano. And in fact, two of my favorite Misfits songs are just Danzig and piano. It's the demos of She and Cough Cool.
I haven't heard those. No.
You haven't heard the piano only version of She? Oh my God, I'll send it to you.
No, I'm gonna. Yeah, I would love to hear it.
It's so good. But it just adds like an extra layer of creepiness to it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to learn more. I've got another one of the other songs is a Misfits. One of the Request Hotline Volume 2 songs is the other Misfits song that I do on Twitch, which is what is it? Hybrid Moments.
Fantastic song. Awesome. So you're investing in yourself as a musician. And you took a music production class hosted by a famous YouTuber, Mr. Andrew Huang.
Yes, I did.
What was the best thing that you learned from his class of running through all that?
Well, I feel like the best thing I've learned is not something that I have employed since then, which was that I can totally write songs. I can totally write I write, 3 songs in 4 weeks, and I haven't kept that momentum going at all. So that's definitely one really big takeaway. Aside from that, I learned a lot about sampling, which, I mean, that's what he does, right? I didn't really know much about him before I took the class. It was recommended to me by a friend. And so now I like follow him on stuff and I've watched a bunch of his videos, but a whole section of the class was about sampling. And the assignment was to make a song completely out of samples that are actually, no, wait. Yeah, it had to be in your house. It had to be like household samples, I think. Now I'm not too sure, but yeah, I made a whole song out of samples that are just items in my house, and like zippers and washing machines closing and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's one of the things that he's known for, is taking just mundane sounds and making it into a full song.
Yeah. So I learned a lot about how to do that, how to like alter, one door slam and turn it into something that sounds like, a snare or just a weird or a note, like a musical note. So that was pretty fun.
That's awesome. Are there any other YouTubers or Twitch streamers that you really love to watch or inspire you or just generally amuse you?
I follow a lot of different, well, I feel like it's a lot of different music Twitch streamers because I spent a lot of time before I set up my channel, like figuring out what it was all about, So I actually researched and watched people of all different sizes, like some people that had 40,000 followers and some people that had 100, just like kind of get a good perspective, or the full spectrum, I guess. So yeah, I mean, there are some random Twitch streamers that I like. I really like Pinky and Clementine. She's not super well known, but she sings and plays guitar, and it's kind of like Mitski. Do you know Mitski?
Familiar. I don't know if I've actually heard their music before, but I know the name.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of like it's just like dramatically sad and really reverby. It's good. It's really good. I recommend. Yeah, I'd say none of the Twitch streamers though have I branched out and been like really into listening to their actual music, if that's, I don't know if that's part of the question, but like there's nobody that I'm like, and even YouTube or, someone like Andrew Huang, like there's not really, I don't have too much time, I feel like, to to really get into that. So yeah, I don't have.
Yeah, I feel no. I feel your pain there because I'm a game designer and I hardly ever have time to play games.
Yeah, there you go.
Especially because I'm so brain dead after work, so I totally feel you there. So I totally get that. So what you talked about the like running out of momentum, but also still surprising yourself and learning that you actually can knock out 3 songs and fairly quickly. Has the pandemic helped or hindered the songwriting process? And what has been the most challenging aspect of writing an entire album by yourself, more or less?
Yeah, that's a great question. So 2020 was terrible. Like that was just an awful year, and it definitely affected my creative abilities. My creativity was pretty much shot for 2020. 2021 though, I think because of how bad 2020 was, and the year coming to a close, whatever, when it turned 2021, I was like, you know what, I need to turn this around. Like I can't keep feeling this way because it's not serving me in any way. So I feel like in 2021, I really sat down and just started thinking about all of these things that we talked about how to make myself a better musician. I still don't have a great vision for the future, because I have always been, I think this is something I need to change, something I need to work on. I've always been kind of like, well, with every musical project that I've done, I've always been like, well, let's see what happens, like we'll just do it. We'll work hard on it. And then who knows, like something good, something bad, maybe nothing happens. And I think I should probably, like, I've never been super goal oriented in that way of being like, I want to, win a Grammy or like any of those kind of things. Like I don't have those kind of motivations. I just love being able to make music. So I don't have a great like the pandemic gave me clarity, but it did give me a reason to, it did give me the drive, I guess, to be like, I need to be better. I need to be a better musician. Like this is my goal, is being a better musician. For now, see what comes of it. And as far as actual like creating music, creating songs and whatnot, it's just always a struggle for me. I feel like now it's kind of gone back to how it was before the pandemic. I mean, before 2020. 2020 was just like a black hole for me. So I feel like I'm gradually, as far as songwriting, I'm gradually like feeling better and better about it and being able to write more. Um, and I don't know if that's pandemic related or not, but that's where I am with it.
No, that's good. Yeah, I mean, it sucks that like live shows are so iffy. You are performing live in March of 2022 in
Yes.
Los Angeles, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
With who and where and all that stuff.
It's with Audio Karate. They released a song recently that they had asked me to to sing harmonies on. Sorry, one second.
Oh,
They
I'll
asked
make
me
sure
to.
that. Yeah, go ahead. I
um,
was I was trying to vamp for you in case you need to take a drink of water. But go ahead.
Thanks. uh, so yeah, Audio Karate, who I used to tour with all over the place in Tsunami Bomb, they asked me to do harmonies on a song. They kind of unearthed some of their old stuff not too long ago and asked me to add some harmonies to a song called Lovely Residence that they just released a few weeks ago. And then they asked me if I would come out and perform at their record release, which is what's happening in March. I'm going to do it acoustically because I have to fly out there, and if I were to do my regular show setup, it would be too much gear for me to bring, and I can't really borrow, with it being electronic. So
Right.
I'm going to do an acoustic set on March 19th with Audio Karate headlining. Go Betty Go are the main support, and then the opener is Rundown Creeps, I believe. I haven't checked them out yet. We just announced the show like not long ago, a couple days ago.
And it's March 19th. Is that correct?
Oh yes, sorry, it's March 19th at the Paramount in Los Angeles.
Awesome. So live shows is really where you shine, regardless if it's on Twitch or not. Has there ever been like a really notable past performance for you where you felt like you were like really fully in the moment and you felt like you had the audience in your pocket? I guess maybe not on Twitch, but like, on stage. When did you feel like you had the audience eating out of your hand with your performance?
Um, I feel like there were a lot of shows where that was my experience. And I think that one of the things that made my portion of a Tsunami Bomb show successful is that I love addressing the audience and engaging with them. So, I would be up front, like really making eye contact with people, singing at them, singing to them, singing with them, getting them to sing. And I think that's one thing that makes live performances so special, is that just the feeling of all of us being there together, and experiencing this thing together. So yeah, I mean, I was fortunate enough to feel that a lot, and it was less common. It's more, it stands out more to me the times when I just couldn't get anyone into it. Those times I was just like, all right, I don't know, I don't know what's happening here, but just gonna keep singing, I guess.
Right.
But shows that definitely one show that stands out to me a lot, as far as like feeling so amazing about it, was when we headlined at the Metro in Chicago, which is like this really
Legend.
beautiful old theater. And which those, I don't know about now because it's been a while since I've toured at that capacity, but there are those kind of theaters all over the country, and they're just amazing. Like the Phoenix Theater, but nicer.
Right.
Less tagging.
Sure.
uh, and we sold it out. So we headlined it and we sold the show out. And to me, was just really blown away by that like I felt like that was a huge accomplishment, to play this amazing big theater that so many bands, so many amazing bands had played, and we sold it out as the headliner. It was, my phone's ringing. Wow. Terrible etiquette.
It's all good. All right. Last question. It's very serious. Are you ready?
Yes.
What
I don't believe you.
Shh. What is the most underrated cookie?
Oh, wow. Okay. That's tough. The most underrated. Are you talking about like homemade cookie or like a store-bought cookie?
Dealer's choice. It's whatever first comes to mind.
Well, okay. Underrated.
Or overrated if that's easier, but underrated maybe.
I feel like there are a lot of overrated cookies.
Well, what are some of the
especially store-bought ones.
Sure.
I feel like I mean, I do love them all because they are cookies and they're sugary and delicious, but I do feel like, I feel like almost any store-bought cookie is overrated in a way, because it's never going to be as good as something that's homemade and fresh,
Right.
and made well. But let's see. Okay. Okay. I don't know if underrated's the right term for this, but I have a recipe for peanut butter chocolate chip cookies. So it's basically like, a chocolate chip cookie, but with peanut butter as the dough, peanut butter flavored dough. And the special ingredient in it is cinnamon. So, and it just makes the whole cookie, it just makes it that much more amazing. And so yeah, underrated is not the right term for that, but it's like, I guess, unexpectedly awesome. I don't know if that counts.
No, it's good. It's good. There's some nuance. I think it's similar to like when chefs add acid or salt or a special ingredient in a time where you're like, oh, whoa, what?
Yeah, exactly. You don't expect that a peanut butter chocolate chip cookie is going to have like a hint of cinnamon in it. And it's so good. I do think that sugar cookies are overrated, although at the same time, I don't think that's a lot of people's favorite, right? I feel like most people's favorite is chocolate chip, right? Isn't that kind of like the standard? Like, if you're talking about homemade cookies, most people are going for chocolate chip, which is really good. So I can't say that's overrated.
The gold standard.
Yeah.
Especially if it's made well.
But when I did do sorry.
You're good. Continue.
I'm still talking.
I don't want to interrupt the good cookie talk. By all means, continue.
I did do one reward temporarily on my Patreon was to ship homemade cookies to people, so they could request, a whatever style, and it did surprise me when people would request sugar cookies. I was always like, really? Like, out of all the cookies, like, you just want, they're good. Don't get me wrong. Especially a fresh homemade sugar cookie. It is really good, but it's like so plain. That's all. End of answer.
Screw you, sugar cookies. You're overrated. All right, it's been so fantastic to talk to you. Thank you for sharing so much. And your voice might be a little bit shot, but how do you feel about playing a song later?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll do a song. Yeah. Well, and I also want to thank you for having me on and for having interesting questions, and it's been fun.
Awesome. But before we play your song, would you like to plug anything, social media sites, and cool things happening in your life? Even though we kind of plugged a couple things, where can people find you, especially on Twitch and all that stuff?
Yeah. So I would love for people to come by my Twitch. It's a work in progress, and I haven't been doing it for very long, but it's under Survival Guide Music is the name of my channel, all spelled out, which is rare because most everywhere else you can find me by searching Survival Guide without any vowels. So, Instagram, Facebook, all of those places, my website, it's just SRVVLGD. And if so, you can most everywhere find me using that, except for Twitch. I had my initial, is that a cat tail?
Yeah, this is cool. He decided to come out, and now that he knows that I'm paying attention to him, he doesn't want me to hold him. I'm going to pick him up anyway.
It's great. It's a little fluffy tail coming into the screen.
Yeah, my work photo at work for the longest time was my face and the cat tail in front of my face.
It's
Sorry,
fitting. It's
interrupted.
Okay.
Continue.
No, it's fine. I was just going to say that initially on Twitch, I had that same handle, the SRVVLGD. And then as I was checking out other channels and commenting or whatever, and I didn't realize how interactive it was, the other musician would be like, "Oh, thanks for the follow, Serval Volgold, Serag." Like they just like that is not pronounceable, and there's no way you're gonna guess what it stands for. So I changed it to Survival Guide Music, which I think has been much more advantageous for me. So yeah.
And then you also have a Patreon.
Yes, I have a Patreon. That's just patreon.com/SRVVLGD, where you can eventually you can attend karaoke. You can request karaoke songs and then attend a live stream. I've got a bunch going on there. I've got I do custom birthday songs that I send to you on your birthday every year. I do a vinyl DJ stream once a month, as well as the karaoke, and a regular like AMA chat type one every month. And at some point, I'm gonna start doing more cover song requests again, because I really loved doing those and I learned so much doing them. And yeah, so I haven't started that yet, but that at some point in the hopefully not too distant future, I'll start doing more cover songs. And of course, you also get on Patreon, I've been releasing like little bits of these demos, like snippets of demos that I've been working on and stuff. And my patrons get everything early and all of that good stuff too. So yeah, come see me in any of those spots, even just Instagram, which I don't post on very often, but.
And Instagram, it's the same thing, just a survival guide with no vowels.
Yes.
And then your website as well.
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Well, Em, thank you so much for your time. It's been fantastic to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Everybody else, please enjoy from the Way to Go record by Survival Guide. Get Your Don't. Enjoy.
hopes up, don't hopes up. Get your hopes up. It'll hurt what's on the way. Down, 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 down. You want me to bare my soul. You want my skin peeled up, exposing all my insides to the core. I'll keep my gold armor on, sword shining by my side, yeah. Don't get your hopes up, don't hopes up. Get your hopes up. It'll hurt what's on the way. Down. Don't get your hopes up, don't hopes up. Get your hopes up. It'll hurt what's on the way. Down, 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 down. Everybody said that it was time for me to move ahead. Keep the armor on, it isn't wrong. Protect myself instead. Oh, and they were right. Now I sleep through the night. Now I sleep through the night. Yeah. Don't get your hopes up, don't hopes up. Get your hopes up. It'll hurt what's on the way. Down. Don't get your hopes up, don't hopes up. Get your hopes up. It'll hurt what's on the way. Down, 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 down. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll catch you next time.